Hey, let's jump right in. You saw the opening. Shaky first series, early turnovers, and that familiar spike in tension that makes a game feel like it could go sideways fast. But what mattered most wasn't the mistake. It was the reaction. That's what this team does now. It absorbs the blow, locks in, and keeps working. I want you to picture Dak in the pocket with the headset glitching. Everyone would panic in some places. But what did you see? Poise. The guy took control, made adjustments, and kept the offense moving like the captain he's been trained to be. That calm rubbed off on everyone else. From a narrative standpoint, this is the kind of performance that says less about a single play and more about a culture shift. The locker room belief, the coaching messages, and the veterans mentoring younger guys all combined to flip a tense moment into a momentum swing. You can see it in how the offense re-established balance. Subtle play calls, smarter clock management, and cleaning up the fundamentals that win late-game situations. Don't sleep on how much a clean snap, a decisive block, or a clutch third-down conversion tells you about a team's readiness to compete. Now, I want you to do something quick. In the comments, type Dak if you think his leadership was the biggest factor, or room if you think the clubhouse leadership and coaching steadied the ship. Also vote with a like if you think this game shows Dallas is built to win tight contests. If you enjoy this kind of breakdown and want the channel to keep digging into the tape, subscribe. We're pushing toward 17,000 subscribers, and every new sub helps us bring faster, more detailed content. Before I move on, one more note. This week's performance wasn't a one-off. It was the product of preparation. A clean blocking assignment that bought Dak an extra second, a receiver running the correct adjustment in tight coverage, and defensive plays that tightened the field for the offense. That combination is how good teams string wins together, and it's why the comeback felt inevitable once the momentum shifted. All right, next we'll break down Dak and CeeDee Lamb's connection and what it means for scoring opportunities. Dak's leadership showed up in the smallest details this week, and that's what I want you to hang on to. Not just the big throws, but the way he controls tempo, buy time with his feet, and quiet the noise when things get messy. When the headset went out early, it could have become a panic moment. Instead, Dak kept the offense on schedule, made the checks he needed, and trusted his reads. That kind of composure filters down. You saw receivers settle into routes with confidence, knowing he'd be in the right spot, and the line tightened up because they trusted him to take what the defense gave. That's why veteran quarterbacks matter. They don't just throw the ball, they manage the chaos and give teammates the space to play loose and smart. Now let's talk about CeeDee Lamb. He looked like a guy who stopped searching for his rhythm and started imposing his will. Route precision, sudden acceleration, and the toughness to win contested catches made him a matchup problem all game. More than one defensive back misjudged his break or lost him at the top of his route, and you could see the timing between Dak and Lamb paying off on critical downs. That timing isn't accidental. It's film study, reps, and trust. When your QB and your top receiver are on the same page, defenses can't play you the same way. They have to respect every level of the field, which opens up lanes for the running game and quick game concepts. Because of that connection, play calling becomes smarter and more flexible. You start to see designers exploit mismatches, quick ins when safeties cheat up, seam shots when linebackers hustle too far, and play action that freezes linebackers for a split second. That's how clutch scoring opportunities appear. And that's how a late drive turns into points, instead of punts. If you want me to break down any of those specific plays in a follow-up clip, drop the play number in the comments, and I'll tear it apart for you on film. Quick interaction. Pick the play of the game in the comments. A. Dak's pressure escape and completion to set up the go-ahead score. B. Lamb's contested third down grab. Or C. The precision timing route that converted a long third. Also hit the like button if you trust Dak in crunch time and type yes or no, so I can gauge how the fan base is feeling. If you enjoy deep breakdowns like this and want faster reactions when rumors break, subscribe. We're pushing for 17,000 subscribers, and every new sub helps us get faster clips and more detailed film work to you. All right. Next, I'm going to dig into the offensive line and the depth that's quietly making all of this possible, from the protection schemes to those clutch blocks you didn't hear about on the broadcast. You already saw it. The wins this team is stringing. Together, start up front, and the offensive line deserves a ton of credit. When the line is disciplined and communicating, everything else becomes easier. Dak gets time to read his progressions, receivers get those split-second windows to separate, and running lanes appear because defenders are getting locked up at the point of attack. Nate Thomas and Tyler Smith didn't just fill in, they stepped in and played like guys who belong, handling assignments and keeping the pocket intact on key stretches. That kind of depth is what turns a good offense into a consistent one. What stands out to me is the line's ability to adjust on the fly. You saw quick slide protections, late help on stunts, and guards sinking to pick up blitzers. The kind of situational awareness that comes from coaching and repetition. Those little technical wins aren't flashy, but they matter. A half-second of extra time lets Dak turn a scramble into a big completions and a proper double team at the second level. Turns a potential tackle for loss into a positive gain. Coaches always preach fundamentals, and when the fundamentals show up in the trenches, you get game control. Run-game balance is another piece. When the O-line secures the edge and opens a crease, it forces defenses to respect the ground game, which in turn keeps safeties honest and gives Dak cleaner reads on play action. That interplay between run and pass is how sustained drives are built. Also, depth matters late in games. The fact that backups can step in without the offense missing. A beat says a lot about the front office's and coaching staff's emphasis on preparation. It's easy to notice the highlight catches and sacks, but those silent blocks and trustworthy hands in the trenches are what win a season. Quick interaction for you. Who was the silent MVP on the line for you this week? Nate Thomas, Tyler Smith, or someone else? Drop the name in the comments. Also, smash the like button if you want a full offensive line film. Breakdown. Type yes or no, so I know whether to prioritize that deep dive. And of course, if you want more tape-focused breakdowns and faster rumor reactions, subscribe. We're pushing for 17,000 subscribers, and every new sub helps us produce better, quicker content for you. All right, next I'll shift to the defense, special teams, and the cultural changes that are turning this roster into a complete unit. Here we go. Now we shift to the heartbeat of this team's transformation. The defense, the special teams, and the culture that's been brewing behind the scenes. You've watched enough Cowboys football to know when a unit is playing with confidence, and right now this defense is carrying itself like a group that expects to win every rep. The tackling has been cleaner, communication sharper, and the overall discipline is miles ahead of where it was earlier in the season. What really stands out is the collective buy-in. You can see it in the way players swarm to the ball, in the split-second adjustments before the snap, and in the trust defenders have in each other to be in the right spots. That's the result of coaching, leadership, and a locker room that refuses to take plays off. And you see that in the young guys, too. Malik Davis is a perfect example. He represents the mentality this staff is trying to instill. Do whatever is asked. Be ready for any role and bring maximum energy every snap. One moment he's making a play on special teams, the next he's stepping in on offense, and then he's back on coverage duty without hesitation. That type of versatility is contagious. When younger players take ownership like that, veterans take notice and the whole room rises. It creates a culture where nobody wants to be the weak link. There's accountability, but it comes with support. The veterans are guiding these guys, showing them how to approach preparation, how to adjust mid-game, and how to stay mentally sharp even when the pressure mounts. Momentum plays such a big role in football. and this defense has embraced that reality. When they get one stop, they're hungry for the next. When they force a turnover, the fire grows. That's where cohesion matters. When everyone trusts the man next to them, defenses can play faster, disguise coverages more freely, and tighten the screws on quarterbacks who rely on rhythm. You can feel that shift happening. A defense that bends less, breaks almost never, and rises to the moment when the game is on the line. That is, the kind of unit that carries a team deep into the season. Special teams often get overlooked, but the Cowboys aren't overlooking anything right now. Field position, pursuit angles, disciplined lanes, those hidden yardage moments are making differences in tight games. A clean tackle inside the 20, a smart fair catch, or a coverage unit flying down the field with perfect spacing might not get the highlight treatment, but they dictate the tone of entire drives. Those plays speak to preparation and effort. It's not glamorous, but it's winning football. And then there's the emotional heartbeat of the roster, the culture. You've seen the videos. You've seen the laughter in the locker room, the celebrations, the way veterans are mentoring rookies instead of just giving them a nod in meetings. That's real chemistry. These players aren't just teammates. They're genuinely invested in each other. That kind of bond shows up on Sundays. It shows up when a receiver fights for a tough catch. Instead of going down early, when a defender chases a play 20 yards downfield just to ensure a stop, when linemen sprint to help up their quarterback. Teams who like each other play harder for each other, and right now this roster looks unified, hungry, and fully locked in. Before we move on, I want to ask you directly, do you feel like this defense has finally found its identity, or are there still pieces that need to fall into place? Let me know in the comments, identity or needs more. And if you want deep dive breakdowns like this every week, make sure you subscribe and help us reach our goal of 17,000 subscribers. It truly helps us bring more coverage straight to you, faster than anyone else doing Cowboys content. The transcript you gave frames the Cowboys as aggressively closing in on Chris Jones. And I'm treating that exactly like a rumor. Unconfirmed chatter that's worth analyzing, not assumed fact. Let's start with the player profile. Chris Jones is the modern prototype of an interior game wrecker. Elite strength, quickness to penetrate the pocket, and a long track record of collapsing protections and stuffing the run. He's also one of the better paid defensive tackles in football, which matters when you talk about trades, cap space, and long-term roster construction. His current contract and cap profile are a big reason teams don't move him lightly. Spot rack now. The realistic leash on moving a player like Jones. There are legitimate reasons a team might consider dealing him, declining returns relative to cap hit, roster reshaping, or simply trying to free space for other priorities. And there are recent pieces arguing the Chiefs could part ways under the right conditions. That said, trading a top-tier interior lineman mid-season is not simple. It involves matching cap commitments, convincing the seller that the return fits their timeline, and the buyer being willing to take a huge salary and possible future dead money headaches. If the Chiefs are considering a split, it's likely tied to long-term roster and cap strategy, rather than a simple, "we'll take that player off your hands" scenario. KC Kingdom. So how does Dallas look as a fit? On paper, adding an elite interior disruptor would immediately shift the beefy end of the Cowboys' defensive equation. Better interior rush could free edge rushers, make linebackers' jobs easier against the run, and create more forced errors for opponents. There's also a leadership element. The transcript hinted Jones's presence could elevate young players and reshape schemes. That's a fair point. But the Cowboys' front office would have to weigh roster balance, draft capital surrendered, and long-term cap consequences against the short-term upgrade on the field. Recent public comments from team ownership that they're actively looking to make moves, this window make the possibility plausible, but not a guarantee. NBC Sports Plus One. Finally, The practical considerations that determine whether this rumor becomes reality: cost, what the Cowboys would give up in picks, players, cap mechanics, can Dallas absorb the hit without crippling flexibility, and scheme fit, would the coaching staff build new wrinkles around a true interior star? Analysts have flagged interior help as a sane target for teams looking to finish a defense. If Dallas believes they're a couple of high-impact pieces away from true contention, a big swing like Jones could be justified, but it would likely come at a steep price. The trade deadline chatter this season has included Dallas as an active shopper, so the rumor isn't coming from nowhere. It's the kind of thing that needs official confirmation before fans treat it as done. NFL.com+1. Quick interaction. If Chris Jones ends up in Dallas, rate his immediate impact 1 to 10 in the comments and explain why you picked that number. Also, if you want instant reaction videos when rumors like this break, hit subscribe. We're pushing to 17,000 subscribers, and every new sub helps us get faster content to you.